Turns out the 5 o'clock presidential debate, which was widely dismissed as the undercard, was also a box office hit, drawing 6 million viewers.
And no one here tonight is going to question your conviction or for your love for country. But has your moment passed, Senator?
So if the people of Louisiana are not satisfied, what makes you think that the people of this nation would be?
I talked to the co-anchors of America's Newsroom just minutes after the debate was over in Cleveland. Bill Hemmer, Martha MacCallum, you just finished the debate here in Cleveland. I was in the cheap seats with the press. The feeling was not a lot of fireworks, kind of subdued, substantive, quiet because there wasn't a big crowd. How did you feel about it?
We felt good about it. You know, I felt like they really came to play. They came very prepared. We did as well. But I think, you know, the feedback that we're getting is that people were impressed by Carly Fiorina. I think Governor Pataki also sort of put himself a little bit more on the map than people might have thought with some of his answers.
Let's go to some questions. Bill,
Yeah.
Why did you ask Rick Santorum, has your time passed?
Well, he ran in 2012, and he's been a little bit out of the spotlight, and so I was just curious to see, you know, whether or not you miss your moment. Sometimes you have your moment, and maybe 2012 was it. We will see. We're exhaling now, okay, having just walked off the set. I thought Fiorina came with a decent line about Donald Trump, about the telephone call. She obviously thought about that. And I have not heard Lindsey Graham turn that question about war on women to ISIS and what's happening in Syria and Iraq before, and I thought that was a clever turn.
You asked Bobby Jindal, the governor of Louisiana, about his low poll numbers in this presidential campaign. Again, what were you trying to get them to kind of justify where they are in this race?
Heavily Republican state, and he has fallen on some pretty tough times. But I thought his answer to that was interesting as well. He said, look, when you're trying to do hard stuff, people don't always respond that well. But the fact that it's a very Republican state also makes that a tricky answer for him. So
Donald Trump is in the other debate.
Yeah.
You brought him in, elephant in the room. What was your thinking behind that?
Yeah, I called him the elephant not in the room
Exactly.
For this debate because he has a ton of political chatter on Facebook, who's a partner in this debate for the evening. And I wanted to put that to them. And basically, I said, you know, he's eating your lunch, guys. And you might all be disgruntled about it, but the fact is that he's beating all of you. And, you know, they took that opportunity to talk about celebrity and why they think his numbers are so strong at this point. And that was when Carly Fiorina chimed in and said, I don't know, has anyone else gotten a phone call from Bill Clinton?
Right.
Because I haven't.
You offered opportunities for the candidates to take each other's on. Mostly they deflected that. They chose not to do that.
I think for the most part, I think the Trump question, there had to be something in that debate because of the way he's dominated the conversation for the past month.
You couldn't ignore it.
No,
I don't think so. And I think, you know, that's where we thought it was appropriate.
Don't journalists like the candidates to mix it up?
Yeah, I thought
the
one question about Obamacare and whether or not you took the federal tax dollars, whether that was the right call or not. I mean, that's still an ongoing debate among Republican governors. That was the one thing, you really tried to push. And I think on the third time we got Jindal to say he's proud of what he did and Governor Kasich was wrong in his words.
You know what, Howie, I think that it's a double-edged sword at this stage of the game, too, because there's 17 of them out there. They don't necessarily want to be seen as the flamethrower.
Right, that
at this
can backfire.
Point, it will winnow down. I think, over the next couple of months, you're going to see some of these people drop out. When they really need to go at each other a little more strongly to knock other people out of the ring, I think you're going to see more of that. But it's the first debate. This process is just beginning, and I think they wanted to establish themselves. They wanted to raise their name recognition out there and get people to go, I might think about that person.
Last question. The fact that this debate inevitably would be overshadowed by the primetime debate, did that change your approach to doing this?
No, I think the only question that we wanted to make sure got in there was a question about Donald Trump. But all the other stuff I think is fair game. And I will say, Howie, they've been on the stump. They're taking questions from voters every day. I don't think anything surprised them. In fact, I think some of their answers were pretty tight when you consider Iowa is still 5+ months away.
I think the only way that it changed our approach is that, their poll numbers are extremely low for the most part. They're very accomplished people. Every one of them has the right to be standing on that stage, given their resume.
Another point or two, and a couple of them would have been in the other debate.
Exactly. So, the fact that their poll numbers are low, I think changed our approach in that we were saying, really? Are you sure you've got a shot at this? What are you doing? And that's the question that we put to them in the first round. And they handled it fairly well. And, at least at this point, they're willing to hang in.
you were injecting a note of realism given their relative
Exactly.
standing in this presidential race.
Exactly.
Martha MacCallum, Bill Hemmer, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Howie.